Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, family owned and operated with the largest selection of natural diamond jewelry. Only diamond jewelry partner of the Florida Gators. We have Edgar Thompson. He's breaking down all the positions here in the summertime for the Mighty Gators, and he will be headed to Atlanta for SEC Media Days next week. There ain't a whole lot going on, folks. But let's go to this guy. He always has something going on.
Well,
JC, you're on the Titan Number hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and I'm assuming the Yankees won last night.
down 5-0. They rolled back. Who cares? The 40,000 fans, including me, who watched. And Yankee fans around America. But you mentioned Edgar, who's going to come on and give us his wisdom. I would also offer that folks should go on and read Brian Edwards, who we've had on this show before, who I communicate with, who is a handicapper and known in Las Vegas. But Brian Edwards has a great preview. It's pretty expansive. It'll take you a while to read it all, but he doesn't miss a beat. And he's on majorwager.com, majorwager.com, majorwager.com. I highly recommend you read Brian Edwards' column. You know, I was looking at it, and as I was reading it, I was unaware. Well, I was aware, but I didn't think about the fact that under DJ Lagway, the Gators were 6-1. And the game they lost was the game he got hurt in against Georgia. So, I'm looking at some of these names and some of these positions. The Wilson brothers at wide receiver, the brothers, they're not brothers, but Gene Wilson and Dallas Wilson. And then you look at this kid Sturdivant, who came over from UCLA, who I think's got a lot of potential. Phil Steele likes him. And then you look at the running back room with Ball and just Jacoby Jackson, some of these players. I'm just thinking to myself, man, these guys are going to score some damn points. You got all these returners on the offensive line. I can't imagine this team not really getting the ball in the end zone unless they just beat themselves, QB. That's kind of how I've surmised it at this early juncture in July. But my goodness, there's some weapons on that. And we lost Boardingham, but they're throwing another tight end. It'll be fine.
He didn't hardly play.
Yeah, he didn't play much at all. So
what's interesting is Phil still likes the Gators, but he has them like 7th in the conference.
It is showing you the strength this conference has got and all the new players that are going to be coming on board to some of these other teams. But I just think that if you score points, it doesn't matter who you play. You're always going to be in the game.
Well, it's all going to come down to if DJ's healthy enough to play. That's simple.
True.
Somebody I was discussing, had a conversation with yesterday after doing a show with them. They're talking about how there's some people, sub publications, these magazines or whatever, that really like the Gators, right?
Yeah.
But in all the big games, Florida's a huge underdog.
At this juncture.
Well, this is what they told me. They're an underdog at Miami. They're an underdog at LSU. They're an underdog at home to Texas. They're an underdog at A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's lazy handicapping based on last year and things before that. It has nothing to do with anything we just mentioned beforehand. And I agree.
No. They already have the lines, JC.
I know.
They know who's on the roster.
But they don't know how these teams are going to still play. I mean, who the hell had South Carolina at this time last year winning 9 games? You would have made a fortune on that. So you just don't know who's going to step up. It was Sellers. Okay, great. Let's see how Sellers does with a whole summer that these D coordinators have to watch tape on him and throughout the offseason. I'm sure he'll be fine, and South Carolina is going to be a very difficult team to handle. But man, I mean, we didn't know anything about the Gamecocks. Everybody was jumping all on the Kentucky Wildcats bandwagon last year or whatever, like they always do. And so, I get the preseason predictions. I understand that certainly Florida might be an underdog in some of these games against the
Well, I think
big bad
Andy
Aggies.
says we're an underdog in 5 games. I guess that would be LSU, Miami, Texas, Texas A&M, and Georgia is my
And
guess.
I would say today Florida covers 3 of those 5 and maybe outright wins them. So we'll see.
Well,
I'm getting
people ain't worried about
optimistic.
them covering them, JC. They want them to win the game. That's all that matters.
I get it. But you're talking underdogs favorites, right? I mean, so okay.
Well, I mean, the reason that the gentleman brought it up was that, he likes the Gators, but he's like, this makes you would think they wouldn't be an underdog in 5 of these games if everybody liked. So basically, let's just say it all the Vegas is correct.
Right.
That means the Gators go 7-5.
It does mean that, but it also carries us over that total of 6.5 and gets.
Well, somebody said it's no longer 6.5; it's 7.5 everywhere.
Okay, well, see, that means money's on Florida.
Well, we have not seen 6.5 since about 5 months ago.
Really? Okay. Well, Florida,
if you can find 6.5, let us know because Brent Beard, his people had it at 7.5 too.
I'll physically fly out there and put the house on it. I mean, I think it's a given they're winning 7. I got them winning 8, but I'm more optimistic now than I've been in the last 4 or 5 years. A, quarterback, B, offensive line, and C, depth at the skill positions, and maybe even D, a better defensive lineup. So that's just the way I look at it. But I highly suggest folks get on to majorwager.com. It doesn't look like it costs anything to get on here and read this Brian Edwards column. It's very, very in depth. DraftKings has Florida at plus 6.5 at LSU, plus 4.5 at Miami, plus 7 at Texas, to your point here, plus 8.5 against Georgia, minus 3 versus Tennessee, and minus 10.5 against FSU. None of that today is handicappable, if you will. These are just numbers that are thrown out there based on what we've seen from a year ago that has absolutely nothing to do with it. So if you
that's why I try to tell people the way we played LSU has no bearing on what's going to happen week 3.
Everyone with the exception of LSU, South Florida, and Texas A&M has a new starting quarterback. Every team on the Florida schedule except LSU, South Florida, and Texas A&M have new quarterbacks. So this is an unknown that's hard to handicap. I don't know how good Mateer is going to be. I'm sure he'll be fine, but the Oklahoma is not.
We don't play him, so it doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't matter.
He's damn good, JC.
Gunner
Stockton plays at Georgia. He played a lot last year.
Okay, and we'll see what he's all about. But
John Mateer, you're going to like John Mateer.
Yeah, I pulled up some stuff on him with Wazoo, and I saw that guy. He can sling it. But
good.
He can sling it. He absolutely can. But I think, I think Tennessee.
Look at you doing homework on Washington State.
New quarterback. Yeah, I like the.
Were you worried about when Alabama rolls in there? Or
Washington State? They don't play
Washington. Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's rolling into Alabama.
Yeah, so you were worried about John Mateer.
Well, I just, you're slurping all over the guy. I got to find out what the big thrill is. But I do see that in him, and I see what you look at, and I agree with you. And I think that, back to Florida here, I think, with Kentucky and Tennessee, no idea who there's got, the quarterbacks are the quarterbacks. The Ole Miss quarterback is new. Listen, Arch Manning is great, I guess. We'll see. I'm sure he will be. But he's coming here, okay? So he doesn't have a lot of experience playing on the road in the SEC.
He'll have a test week 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I still think they win that game. But, yeah, he will.
Back concrete builds firm foundation for generations. You stand on it. We stand by it. Annie's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Laws. What will our offensive percentage of rushing and passing yardage be this year? 50-50-ish? Yeah. I've said this multiple times.
Really? I think it's more running than obviously.
Well, it's going to be close.
If they're a lead, if they have a lead, they're handing the ball off.
Well, they're going to run the football, JC. That's what they're going to do. That's what.
Right. I'm going more 65,
what people don't
35.
understand in Billy Napier's offense And again, I don't think he's a bad play caller at all. Play calling comes down to, does the play work or not? As I've said multiple times, Steve Sarkisian, I think, is the best in the world in college sports right now at play call. He called some awful plays at times last year. Okay. It happens. People only remember the plays that don't work. But he wants to run the football. That's what allows DJ to hit the big plays, is running the football.
100%.
That is the only reason those plays, he hits those big guys down the field, is because of how we run the football.
Yep. They have to run the football to be successful. You're right. And that does make life easier for the quarterback. You know better than anybody. Yeah, you guys ran the ball when you played.
We ran it. We mixed it up, but
yeah. But
what I'm saying is, and I think it's important. I don't see us seeing a lot of zone coverage, because you can't play zone if a team can run the football really well.
You know what? I love our odds with Gene Wilson and Dallas Wilson, those guys in man cover. I love their chances, and I just go with that. I just take the better. I think the route runner is gonna make the difference. All Lagway has to do is get the ball to him. That's a big. I don't mean that's all he has to do, but you know what I'm saying. These guys are playmakers.
Tony says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, these QBs are not going to be new by the time we play Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ole Miss.
Yeah, okay, that's very valid, but they also may not be the same guy either. Meaning they may not even be playing in those games by the time we play Tennessee and Kentucky and whomever, because they may not be good enough to keep playing. That you just don't know, right? I mean, it's
the Tennessee quarterback I like, and I like the Ole Miss quarterback. Kentucky has they have not had the same starting quarterback or some crap for the last 15 years. I mean, it's crazy what they do there.
And Blake Shapen, he's coming off an injury, so Mississippi State, I'm not sure how
they're garbage. It's going to take him some time there. Dan says on Facebook Live, DraftKings has Florida at 6.5 wins, MGM 7.5, and Bally 7.5.
Jump on that, DraftKings. I'll tell you what, folks. I'll be in Illinois on Saturday. It's legal there. Venmo me all you want, and I'll get you that over 6.5 on DraftKings for you, because we only have one book here, unfortunately. But one's better than none. I'm saying 8. I think we win at Miami this year. I really am confident about that game, because I think Mario is. First of all, Miami should have had 4 or 5.
Well, I think they're going to get clobbered by Notre Dame week 1.
I do too.
Although I don't know who's playing quarterback for Notre Dame.
Exactly. See, there's a lot, and same with Alabama. I mean, Ty Simpson's played in a backup role. We don't know how good he is. I don't know how good he is. They say he's good. We'll see. I trust Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer, but I don't know what Ty Simpson's all about. I have no idea. Do you?
No. Mike says, how is Napier's in-game coaching going to be this year? We don't know. I thought it was not. I thought it was not too bad last year. Tony says, you brought in the guy who coached Cam Ward at Wazoo. Venables needs to leave him alone and worry about the defense. That's what Venables is doing this year. He is going back, taking over their defense. That is why I think he's one of the best defensive coordinators in all of America.
Yes, Oklahoma is your sleeper team.
Yes, and like I said, I don't even know what Oklahoma's schedule is, but they brought in a stud running back from Cal. They're going to have dudes on the outside, and they got a stud at quarterback.
Well, I mean, there you have it, right? That's kind of what we're talking about this morning.
Yeah,
skill players, guys around quarterback who's very who takes care of the ball. Yeah.
Text on the Titanamore text line. We'll have Edgar Thompson in the second portion of today's program. Josh from Wamama says, JC, what's the best sporting event I can take my kids to this weekend between Tampa and Miami? Anything. Now you're a booking agent, JC.
Between Tampa and Miami. Well,
I guess he's talking about in
this weekend,
that driving area.
Well, this weekend, I mean, if all you have is baseball, just pick the closer game. I mean, is that what he's talking about? That's an odd question.
I don't know. I'm just reading what's on the text.
Yeah. Well, what do you think he means? I mean, you think he's talking about baseball?
Well, there is no other sport being played right now.
Yeah, it's got to be.
You go watch the Devil Rays, or you go watch
the Devil Rays,
the Marlins, or you go to a spring training game. Not spring training, but a minor league game.
Barone wants to know if I'm going to the Miami game. You know what, Barone? I just might do that. I like it down there for about a half an hour to an hour, and then I'm ready to leave. But actually, I think I might just go to that game. I don't know. We'll see. I just I got to watch. Florida's got to make me want to come watch them play. I'm not.
You just sat here for 20 minutes.
I know
for
it.
15 minutes telling us how great they are.
No, not how great they are. I just think they'll be better. I think we got 8 wins in us, and you never know. That could translate to 9.
So basically, you're saying if they sputter around and get beat at LSU, you're not going to mind.
I didn't say that. I don't know if they can beat LSU, win or lose. They're going to.
That game concerns me a lot.
It should. I mean, this is a revenge game for LSU. And let's face it, before last year's game, they had Florida's number. They won six in a row, was it? Something like that. I'm just. I know it's a tough schedule. I know they have back-to-back games 3 different times that are tougher than just about anybody on the schedule. I harp on this all the time. I think it does matter, the scheduling a little bit and who you play the week after you play somebody. But, don't sleep on South Florida, for instance, in the second game, because you're not going to get a whole lot out of that first game. We'll work out some kinks, I suppose. It's a scrimmage. South Florida rolls in here. What do they got to lose? And they've got a few athletes down there. I'm just saying it's not a layup. But if Florida does what they should do against South Florida, what they are expected to do, I'll feel a lot better going into LSU and then, of course, coming down to Miami. But I don't want to see Florida at 2-2. Nobody does. And so we'll just do the best we can.
Alan says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, I will never forget the 1990 or 91 game in the Swamp when Auburn beat us on the last play of the game. That didn't happen in 90 or 91, Alan.
He must have forgotten the year, but he didn't forget the game.
Yeah, that was mid-90s, I think, because 90-91 is when I played and we never lost to Auburn.
No, you don't lose to Auburn.
No.
Was this Terry Bowden?
It had to have been.
Yeah, they came in here and got lucky. They sure did. I do recall that game as well. But
Daryl on the Titan More text line says, "Good morning, guys. I was going to buy some extra Florida-Texas tickets to make some money, but face value is already at $260 and up."
Well, those prices will fluctuate based on past performance. So just don't sweat it. Buy them up anyway. You're going to sell them. If you can't sell them to Gator fans, I'm afraid you'll sell them to Longhorn fans. Texas is coming with a pretty hefty contingent. I am certain of it. And I've got some friends in the Dallas area who love the Longhorns, man. And they said they'd love to come. They love the idea of coming to Florida. It's just so new to them, having been a longtime member of the Big 12 and the Southwest Conference even before that, that playing in the SEC is such a cool experience for these folks. They are so excited. They're so excited about being in the SEC. And they were the best team in the SEC last year, I think. So we'll see if it plays out that way. Alan says I'm getting wishy-washy. No, Alan, I'm not. I'm just saying that I think we can watch them win 8 games, but I also think it is a very difficult schedule, but I think Florida is up for it. And I think if they stay healthy, they could surprise and win one of these games they're not supposed to win, according to the bookmakers. So that could be even 9 wins. So maybe I'm getting too Pollyannish about it all. Last year I was not optimistic. I think that was proven true until the end of the year when they showed up with that quarterback. And here we are starting the year with that quarterback. I'm optimistic, QB. I'm just going to say go Gators. Hell with it.
Well, I will just say this. This team is extremely more talented than last year's team.
100%. Oh, yeah, no doubt. And more depth, QB. That if one guy goes down, there's 2 back there waiting to play.
Well, it is at certain positions. Some
Right.
positional defense ain't like that.
Yeah.
This day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union, we're proud members, Steve Spurrier Banks. JC, in 1900, do you know who Charlotte Cooper is? Charlotte Cooper beats Helen Prevost to become the first female Olympic tennis champion and the first individual female Olympic champion in any sport.
Damn.
How about Charlotte Cooper?
Speaking of tennis, Ben, he's in the quarterfinals. That's an automatic invite to Wimbledon the following year, or forever, really. And he's playing great, and he runs into Yannick Sinner, and it was over in just a little bit over an hour. I mean, he just isn't ready for that. That's just a next level player, Yannick Sinner. He's in there with the younger Djokovic type player, the Federers, and definitely with Carlos Alcaraz, who I think is the best player in the world. So those two are going to end up playing for Wimbledon's men's title. I'm almost certain of it. And how about this young American who put it on Arena Sabalenka, the Belarusian/Russian, Amanda Anisimova. Okay, this girl took a year off. What are you laughing at? She took a year off.
I'm laughing at large fry.
Hold on. I heard Charlotte was born. Okay. Anyway, Amanda took a year off, comes back, and now she's in the finals of the women's division at Wimbledon. She's an American. Listen, we've got the last four, I think, Grand Slam winners in either the men's or women's division, all Americans. So you had the French Open with Coco Gauff. You had the U.S. Open with, I think it was Pegula. The Australian Open with Madison Keys. You can't believe I'm rattling this off, QB. You can't believe it. And then
you can be making up stuff and I wouldn't know.
Oh, well, I'm not making it up.
I know, you're doing a good job.
Somebody would fact check me if I was making it up. So that
fact check you.
JC was at that game in 1900. I was. I just can't remember all of it there, Alan. But
you were at the tennis match?
Well, no, JC. Alan says I was at that Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte.
Yeah, what was her name? Already deleted.
Charlotte Cooper.
Charlotte Cooper.
Cooper.
Just think, if you're ever on Jeopardy, JC, that may be a question.
I can do that. I'm the only friend you have that could actually go on Jeopardy. That's right, QB. Because I have
a small group of friends. So
by the way, Johnny O shirts right now, 50% off online at the website. I spoke with Coach Nichols yesterday, and Coach Nichols, we spoke for 20 minutes about apparel, okay, and where you shop. I've become a massive TJ Maxx and Marshalls shopper, and Johnny O shirts, 50% off online. That takes you down to a reasonable price, and I've got some of these shorts on. I can't wait to show everybody today at the golf course these beautiful new shorts.
Well, tell everybody where the website is if you're going to hear.
It's JohnnyO.com. It's just the Johnny O website.
Oh, where they're going to have like smalls and triple X's and stuff, JC. Let's be honest.
Well,
regular sizes are already gone.
Probably, but just go look it up. I mean, I think it might be worth your time.
I don't need to when I sell Johnny O. Well, I don't want to go buy it somewhere else.
Yes, you get that discount already, don't you?
That's right.
That's right.
Shooter on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. The most impressive thing about last year was that Billy never lost the locker room and kept the team together through the horrible start and all the fans calling for his head.
Totally agree.
Yep.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. After that A&M game, I jumped off the boat. I did. I admit it. I remember saying it on your show here, on this show. It was awful. But, man, to their credit, they stuck with it. And give Scott Strickland some credit, too, because this guy was being lambasted. You know, he's ruined Florida sports, blah, 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 blah. I can't wait till he refurbishes the stadium. I'm one of the only guys in here that loves the idea of a new swamp. I think it's going to be.
Again, I think people don't understand what they're going to do. And they have not come out publicly, or I don't know anything, but this is what they're going to do. They're going to take a few seats out. Okay. Maybe 5,000.
Great.
To make it more room and more chair backs.
Who the hell likes to sit like this? Who likes to sit like this? And then have some idiot behind me go, oh, you know, it drives me bananas. I can't do it. I will not go with the general population anymore while we're doing this. And my knee is in some guy's back. And
you're only 5'7".
Right, 8.5. 5'8.5" and almost 5'9.5" with golf.
Maybe wearing Hoka shoes.
Well, all I can tell you is that it's a good thing, folks, that they're putting money into things that you enjoy when you watch the game. Quit belly aching about it. Don't worry about the fans. How many times have you rolled into the swamp and seen the corners up there empty, or the top at the sunshine level empty because, well, hell, it's either too early, it's too sunny and hot, or, you know, they suck. And so let's face it, we don't need 95,000 seats in that building. Who the hell needs 95,000 seats in that building?
Here's what I've never understood, and I've talked about this multiple times because, you know, before I did the radio, I hardly ever went to the games. I tailgated, and I like to watch it at home so I can I don't hear anybody. I can just watch the game. Yeah. But when I've had to go to the SEC championship games for stuff, I still to this day do not understand why people have to stand the whole freaking game. They build the stadium on an angle for a reason. So everybody can sit in their seat and watch the game.
I mean, yeah, have you ever been to a movie theater where somebody was standing watching the movie?
I think people should start doing that, JC. Everybody should just stand up while they're in the movie and watch it.
They do stand up right before the play happens. All right, let's get out. I'll just never forget back in the 70s and 80s when I go with my dad. My dad was one of those old professors. Down in front, down in front. And it just cracked me up. Down in front, you. Hey, you. And I was so embarrassed. I said, that guy's going to come and punch you in the nose, Dad. He will not. Anyway, QB, I want you, when Edgar gets on here, because he's one of the guys I actually like watching that you have on here. And when he gets on here, just ask him how many wins we're going to have. And don't let him surf on it or skate. Just say, give me a number, Edgar. And you're going to forget, because you forget things 5 minutes later.
Here, I'm going to write it down right here.
I'll text it to you when I get off. Ask Edgar his win total. And then say,
okay, so does this have any bearing on whether you place a wager on the win total or not for the Gators?
no, I'm just curious what he thinks he's supposed to be the guy on the inside.
Well, he's one of the many. All right, JC, before we get out of here, the Peachland Dental picks. You got any picks for the week? I didn't even look at the golf.
Well, I haven't looked at it either. We have some, this tournament, the Scottish Open, it's over before my day starts, basically.
All right, so let me just tell you, I just pulled it up. Today,
all right.
Chris Gator, who's an Oklahoma Sooner, I think.
Uh-huh.
He's already finished. Look what he shot today, 9 under par.
Wow.
Harry Hall shot 6 under today. Your boy Matt Fitzpatrick shot 7 under today.
I got Matthew. I've got him. Listen,
good God, the wind must not be blowing at all.
There's no wind at all. Yeah. What's McIntyre? You see him down there? Bobby
No, but Andrew Novak shot 7 under today. It must be playing so easy.
Yeah, there's no wind, QB. There's no wind. I bet you Scheffler shoots a 64 today. Fitzpatrick was my first pick. I like the way he's been playing here lately, and now he's very comfortable over there. And these guys,
he's on the mornings. There are a lot of the guys that were 6 and 7 under yesterday have not teed off yet.
Right? Yeah, and we'll see what the afternoon weather is like. But if without wind, forget it. And I've also got this guy Nikolai Højgaard, who I think could be a good pick. We'll see though. I'm just looking forward to the British Open next week, and then truly we do wait for the NFL to start training camp, and of course in August we get the college kids.
I think some dudes are starting camp in the next day or two.
It's not long. Well, remember, it's the American Century Golf Classic in Lake Tahoe happens, and then after that it's like everybody just springs to work, goes to work. So that's kind of like my gauge of when things really start is after that celebrity tournament in Lake Tahoe. Now, none of the current guys who are usually playing that. It's always the guys who are retired or older. But after that tournament in mid-July, then you start getting into NFL training.
JC, I think you and Barone need to watch games together.
I'm the more I read Barone.
So Barone says
I like him.
He says his neighbors probably think he's nuts on Gator game day because he has the sound blasting. He's yelling, "Celebrate" with horns. That's you.
That's me. I'll blow that Vuvuzuela. I'll tell you what I'll do for you guys next week. We'll do a Vuvuzuela session. I'll raise hell, wake everybody up in the neighborhood. It's perfect. And by the way, I also have this fella up in Canada, JLB. He is so friendly and nice. Thank you so much for watching, JLB. I am your hockey guy. Don't you worry if you got something you want to talk about with hockey. I'll go with it. And we'll be fine. But yeah, Shooter McGavin, all these great viewers we have. I love these guys that chime in. It's good to participate in our show, and it gives Shane and me something to talk about when you guys do that. And look what I just got from the wife. An egg and look at that. Wow, toasted, man. This is the married
What's all
life.
on that, JC?
The married life. What's
on that?
Well, we got a fried egg. We've got cheese. We've got butter. And there's some bacon.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I get the Land O'Lakes that used to have the Indian on it. They took that off for I don't know what the world has against
Well,
them.
supposedly,
anyway.
I saw on Twitter this morning, and don't believe everything you read on Twitter. Somebody said that they're very close to going back to being the Redskins.
I hope it happens. And I want that Indian back on the butter, the Land of the Lakes. Why the hell are we boycotting Indians? This is so stupid. But anyway, it's damn good butter. So that's what we eat. I get the sea salt and olive oil. Olive oil and sea salt. It's the blue top, guys. Don't worry about how much it costs. Just buy it. And you must have your protein. You must get this, QB. Are you going to drink some protein today before you play golf?
I have protein every morning, JC.
Oh, boy.
I appreciate you checking in on me.
Well, we got to keep you around.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, Edgar Thompson.
All right, I got to get to Edgar.
Ask him how many freaking wins.
I will.
Right.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout. We'll come back with Orlando Sentinel's Edgar Thompson. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back. Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Meals Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Oh, all the way from the North Pole. It's me, Santa Claus. Oh, I'm here with my friend Steve Spurrier for an amazing Christmas in July offer.
Spurrier's Gridiron gift cards are on sale for 20% off.
Coach, how do they get them?
You can go to Spurriers.com and order a digital card or stop by my restaurant in Celebration Point and pick some up today.
Thanks for being my holiday helper in July, Coach. Hurry, this special Christmas in July offer is for this month only. Ho, ho, ho.
The most important thing I learned from my father was work ethic and integrity. Never veer away from integrity, even if it costs you money.
International Diamond Center owner Keith LeClaire.
The core value for IDC is to protect the customer.
That means offering the largest selection, uncompromising quality, the strongest warranties, and honest guidance from experts who are not paid on commission. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point. Online, shopidc.com.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football. Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians, great food and southern hospitality in the center of the universe, Brooksville, Florida. That's floridacracker.com. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're going to be joined by a friend of the program from the Orlando Sentinel, Edgar Thompson. Good morning, Edgar. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. You guys have my Twitter handle up underneath that. I like it.
That's my great producer, Zach. He does it all. I just turn the computer on and babble.
Got a new touch.
Yeah. All right, cool. Now everybody can send nasty messages to you.
Yeah, I'm not on there nearly as much as I used
Yeah. All right, Edgar. First of all, David says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, I thought the Commanders issued a statement that they were embracing the new culture of the Commanders and would not be changing back. I don't know, Dave. I just saw it on Twitter yesterday, or when I woke up this morning. I'm hoping they go back to the Redskins. Edgar, we got SEC.
Oh, that's a thing? I haven't looked at ESPN. They're going back to that?
Well, there's talk about it. Look, I'm Native American, and I have zero problem with the name Redskins.
I am from Richmond. I'm home visiting family, and my whole family, this whole area is all huge Redskin fans. My best friend, my grandparents were huge Redskins fans. I mean, I don't know.
It's a great logo too. Great logo.
It's a good name, but
yeah. All right, Edgar, we got SEC Media Days cranking up in Atlanta on Monday. I think Billy's there on Wednesday with the other Gators. It's in Atlanta, which I've been to the College Football Hall of Fame, but I've never obviously been there for SEC Media Days. I can't picture how it works. Do you like it there?
I think we've done it once there. I think it's just one time. It's disjointed for the media, at least, because we're over in the area where the Hall of Fame is. It's kind of up there, and we're down. And one reason I like it is it's not freezing cold. I'm telling you, Hoover is like a meat locker. It's unbelievable. You need to bring turtlenecks and like warm clothes for that place. But Hoover's the Radio Row's all out there. You walk out the door, you're running into media people. You're running into like talking head types, Feinbaum and those guys, Greg McElroy. You can grab a guy or a woman or whatever to, maybe get an interview with. And this way you don't see anybody. It's bizarre. So we're over in our own separate area where the coaches address us. And it's just a lot to navigate. It's different. We were in Nashville, what was it, maybe 2 years ago? Were we back in Hoover? I can't even keep it straight anymore. They all bleed together. But Hoover's the best setup, I think, personally, but they're trying to spread the wealth. Oh, no, weren't we in Dallas? They did it in Dallas.
Dallas was last year, right?
Yeah, because they were trying to kind of make the statement here, we're here. And I can't even remember how that one worked, but it seemed fine. Well, they do blend together. I mean, this is like my 15th one, I think. So I've done a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But it's a good event. I mean, you can get a lot of voices and talk to a lot of different athletes that you're never going to get access to otherwise.
I saw a clip of some of the Big 12 media days with like Mike Gundy. I felt like I was watching like a high school, not a high school media day, but they had like a table where each coach was just sitting at this table, like with a tablecloth, not in a nice podium or whatever. So I think the SEC does it right. All right, so Billy is bringing DJ, Caleb Banks, and Jake Slaughter. You think we're going to get any information out of this? Everybody's, DJ's going to be asked, how are you feeling? He's going to say, I'm 100%, blah, blah, blah. What are you wanting to get out of this media days, I should ask?
I mean, from the Gators, you're probably not going to get a whole lot, and we get a lot of access to them henceforth. So, I mean, Billy will have a message to deliver on the podium. We do get a little bit of time with them beforehand. They provide a little bit of time beforehand, which allows us to get some questions into Billy. So we're not like dominating the in-room interview, which makes sense because you don't want the coach getting up there and then it's, me, Kevin Brockway, Graham Hall, Zach Goodall, everyone just hammering them, Zach Alberti, all the regulars, and allowing some other people to ask questions of Billy and players for that matter, because they station the players around the room, the three of them simultaneously after Billy speaks. But in terms of what you get, we're going to try to get updates. We are going to ask DJ. This is going to be the first time we've talked to DJ since all these health issues and quotes have arisen. We saw DJ at his foundation launch at Spurrier's, and that was kind of off limits, which is fair. I don't really like limitations put on interviews, but in fairness, he was launching a foundation. I wanted to kind of write about that and his thinking behind this and giving money to women's sports and whatnot. So that was fair, but we have not had access to the young man since he didn't practice the entire spring season. Then I went to Anthony Richardson's camp, which was kind of cool. And it was great to see Anthony, who's always handles himself so well and is gracious, and DJ was going to be there and we thought we might get him there, but he didn't show up. So yeah, he needs to be asked whether it's really an issue or not. I'm not saying what it is. I don't know really. but there is at least concerns or questions from the outside, whether there are at the inside, are we really going to find out? Are they really going to give us what they're really thinking on that? They don't, Billy and these guys don't like talking about injuries anyway. And it does lead me to a question for you, actually, having been an NFL quarterback for so many years and in a professional setting. I mean, DJ Lagway, I believe, might be making this year more than you might have earned in any season almost.
No, the most I ever made was $750,000, Edgar.
Well, he's earning a lot more than that.
Yeah, yeah, he's probably making more money in counting last year, this year, and if you just go ahead and add next year, more than I made my entire NFL career.
Okay, so does that go with answering questions about things that might not have been a question you answered when you were, quote, an amateur? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, from an injury, if we're going to talk about injuries and stuff, I don't think any professional athlete, even when they're in the NFL or NBA or whatever, ever discuss exactly what's going on with them. You know, here's what, like, real quick, Joseph has a question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel. If DJ is so hurt, why hasn't he already had surgery? If DJ gets hurt, the fan base is going to cook Billy. We've had Dr. Pete on as well from a physician standpoint in today's world with NIL. These guys have their own little group, right? That handles this, handles that. Most athletes try to avoid the surgery if at all possible, regardless of what kind of surgery it is. Some surgeries, like, you only be out 2 to 3 weeks. Well, sometimes that can turn into 6 months. You never know. So, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I don't think I've ever heard a real NFL athlete say, I'm 100%. Yes, my knee is ready to go. Everybody wants to play. That's the thing, is they want to play. Do I think DJ's 100%? Absolutely not. Do I think he's going to be 100% during the season? Absolutely not. I don't know who's 100% when they go into the season because of the wear and tear of just practicing football. So to answer Joe's question, I think DJ is going to have shoulder surgery at some point from what I've been told. I don't know if it's going to be when he's a Gator or when he's in the pros or what, but they're trying to do everything they can to avoid surgery because you never know what that may do. I don't know if that made any sense.
So Curtis Strange, so I cover that father-son golf tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every year. And so, all the older players with their sons or daughters or whatever, granddaughters in some cases, or sons, play. And Curtis Strange was on the range. This is years ago, like 8 years ago. And some guy's like, oh, Curtis, so you're back at it. And he's like, yeah, I had to have that shoulder surgery. And he goes, okay, how's it going? He goes, it's good, finally good. And they started talking, whatever. He said the doctor told him it was a 4 to 6 month recovery. And he went in after 8 months. The doc, it's still, and he says, Curtis, it's like a year. He goes, I thought you said it was 4 to 6 months. If I told you that, you never would have had the surgery.
Yeah. Well, it's like I got 2 torn rotator cuffs and 2 torn labrums. But it's one of those deals where I've talked to a couple different doctors and they're like, there's no guarantee that it's going to take the pain away. Plus, you're going to be in one of those things like this for 6 or 7 weeks or whatever it is. I live in pain. I think anybody that plays sports lives in pain on a daily basis. It's just, what is your pain tolerance and how much you can take? Because the last thing I want to do is not be able to play golf. It's already, I got to have something to enjoy. So I just do it in pain. And I think most athletes, that's the way they live.
Most humans. I'll say this. He apparently, according to speaking to one of his representatives, one of his kind of, team, part of his team, said that in fact, I wrote this story. It's Derek Jackson, his agent. He said he's ready to roll. This was a while back, but he said, look, this was in some ways a blessing because he got his core, because he's had core issues too, and the hammy and all that, right? So he had to heal up. It gave him time to heal. It also gave him a different perspective on how to train and how to just strengthen his body. You know, he was coming out of a high school program. Now it was probably a good program and all that, but they weren't. And maybe he was doing some lifts. I don't know what it all was, but it gave him a new perspective, and he feels like he's trained his body in ways that maybe he wasn't. And so maybe this will help him prevent some injuries going forward, because he's had some so far.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is that tag, because it's one Anthony's carrying currently.
Yeah. And again, back to Joe's question, if DJ gets hurt, look, injuries happen. They can't, it's ain't Billy's issue too. And like what Dr. Pete said on our program, you know, the coach can be like, come on, man, we really need you to, and let's take DJ out of it, whoever the player is for whatever school. Nowadays, these doctors sometimes don't want to do surgeries, as Dr. Pete said, on them, because they may not come back like they used to, and it's a money thing now. So anyway, hopefully he can get through the season and play at a high level. That's what we're all anticipating. But speaking of that, JC wanted me to ask you, how many wins do the Gators have in your mind?
8.
You say 8?
I could see 8 easily. If I had to, if you said pick a number, I might say 9 wins. I think I think the roster is better than it's been in years. And the offensive line is supposed to be good. I mean, I know they got to get the right tackle situation straight. I love Jacoby Jackson, and Ball, we know, is like going to be a star, right? They're good at running back. And I mean, I'm forgetting guys. And this KD Daniels could be.
That's my favorite running back.
He could be really good this year. Yeah, he's explosive. Mississippi bias, but yeah, Dallas Wilson looks like a star. Right? You know, I think it's going to be a future star is Miles Graham. I mean, I think he's amazing. Caleb Banks, if he can play like he did in November, starting in September, he could be a force. They're good off the edge. I'm a little concerned about cornerback, maybe. I'm not sure what's there. I mean, Devin Moore, if he can stay healthy, I think the guy's got all SEC ability, but he never can. He's 19 of 38 games he's played. But I think they have some questions some places. I mean, Hayden Hansen, one of the draft guys I know, says that, man, the NFL teams like him. I mean, look at the guy. So they got a lot of things going positively for them. Trey Smack's a great kicker. I mean, the punter is not going to be as good as Crushaw. I mean, if we really start breaking the roster down, but they're experienced at safety, right? 2 veteran guys back there. So they got a lot of positive things, and I don't know if the schedule's daunting, but a lot of those teams have some questions too. I mean, Ole Miss, for example, returns 4 starters, and Austin Simmons looks like he could be really good, but he's got a lot of development to do. That is at Ole Miss though. But I haven't looked at the schedule pen to paper, but I could see 9. But they're gonna have to split the LSU Miami visits.
Yeah,
I believe, to get there.
The LSU game to me is critical.
Yeah,
critical. Electronics World Integration Design Specialist for smart home automation and entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Check them out, electronicsworld.net. A few more minutes with Edgar Thompson. Ted's got a good question here, and I think this kid needs to play at a high level for our defense to be anywhere near what we want it to be. Is LJ McCray going to play a lot?
I think they want him to.
Yeah.
Last year, it's funny, going into the bowl game, someone kind of over there said, watch LJ McCray this week or this game. I think he was having really good practices leading up, and they had high hopes. He didn't really break out in that game necessarily, but it sounds like he was practicing really well and trending. So that at least tells you what they were thinking then. So this is 8 months later or so, or will be about 8 months later. I mean, Sapp could, had some real momentum coming out. I think he's going to have a great year. Gums, I think, was really finding his footing. He's another really explosive guy off the edge. And I like Cam James, man. I always have. Just looking at him and watching him, even in practice, his get off and all that. And they got 4 good guys there. They really got to shore up the interior depth. We've talked about that on here. Linebacker, I mean, I think Childs, that guy is really, he's got some real upside. And if Pup Howard stays healthy, I think he was a solid. He wasn't quite as like dominant as I thought he might be. I thought he might be dominant last year. I don't know what you thought, but he was good. But he was also hurt and missed like his last few games. But again, I think Graham, man, I don't know what your thoughts are on him, but I think he could be special.
Oh, Miles, yeah. I mean, I thought he was one of the better high school players I've ever seen when he was here for his 1 year in town. Edgar, we got a text here on the Titan Mar text line from Jim. He wants to know, Edgar, do you already have your ballot ready in the vote for the media SEC rankings?
No, I haven't thought about it all. I'm playing golf. I'm home. I've been home. I played golf with Dad. What do we play? We have played with Dad with Friday, Saturday, Monday. We're gonna play a little today and tomorrow. So bunch of golf with Dad. Played with my cousin the other day. I've done a little bit of work, but I haven't really thought about it. And I was looking through the Athlon sports thing, Shane. I was going to ask you about this because they rate the unit rankings, right?
Mhm.
And the Gators offensively are really, relative to the SEC, their unit rankings for the Gators are quite favorable. How good do you think this offense is going to be? That was kind of what I wanted to ask you, being a
I think it can be very, very good. I think it'd be one of the top 3 in the league. I think LSU and Texas's offenses are going to be really good. But I think we can be right there with them.
Here it is. Texas quarterback 1, running back 1, receiver 4, line 4, LSU 2, quarterback 8, running back 3, receiver 7, O-line, Gators 4-4-7-2. Second offensive line, 4 quarterback, which I think if DJ's 100%, I think DJ's better than 4 personally. Running back 4, they'd be even better than that. Wide receiver 7, I don't think they know how good Dallas Wilson could be. So
Right.
their offense could be quite good.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think LSU, Texas. I'm going to throw Oklahoma in there. I think that quarterback is really good.
Okay.
And they got some good skill they brought in. But I think Florida should be in the top 4 in the league in offense.
That'd be good.
Again, I don't give a damn if we win a game 17-10 and we may have to win games like that. You just never know. Before we get you out of here, Edgar, Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Melo. What's your take on Ollie's play for Canada in the under-19 World Cup? Average 1.6 points and 2 rebounds in 9 minutes. Is he helping us at all next year?
Unlikely. I don't think that was ever the plan either. I think they were more looking at redshirt sophomore. Maybe they could get a little something out of him by then. This is long term. The guy's still 19. I think he turns 20 next year. It's unbelievable to think, but true. Todd's comment to me in Destin, I wrote a story on Ollie a bit ago, a month ago or whatever. He said he is the most unique prospect in college basketball. There's no better way to say it, right? Why wouldn't you try to develop this kid and take a chance? But it's a long-term process, like with 2 O's, 2 N's, 2 G's. They're not expecting anything. They don't really need it with this front court. Now, Mark Long is obsessed with this one aspect of Ollie's game they could potentially contribute, and that's on inbound plays. And in fact, there's a video of him harassing a guy on an inbound play, and the guy throws a turnover, and the guy catches it. Did you see this thing?
I have not seen it.
And he catches it and hits like almost a 40-foot shot at the buzzer or something. I don't know whether it was to win the game or not. I couldn't even really figure out what was going on. It was crazy, but he could disrupt some inbound plays in a key situation potentially, but he could play. He's going to be a curiosity until he does play. I don't know that he's ever going to be a good player, but it's like Todd said, why wouldn't you take a chance? Again, he's not even going to be 20 years old, I think, until next year.
Yeah, I personally don't think he'll play at all next year. It is intriguing about the, inbounds plays, but the problem is if it's not like that inbound play is not like a end of the game situation.
Yeah, if he's throwing it length of the court, that was what this was.
Oh, you mean he threw the ball?
No, if he if there's an end of the game
Oh,
and
right. Yeah. So
you
he
can't
yeah,
run the baseline,
yeah, I think
you
that's
just put him there and like he can
yeah,
enough.
because the last thing you want him to do is if you still have live action after they inbound it, he can be a liability. Look, him being that tall is great, but he's a liability. He's a liability at certain things. Edgar, good stuff. Have a great trip with your family. Be safe going to Atlanta.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
we'll talk to you soon, my man.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, that's Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. Join us on the Titan No More hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient for sprains, strains, and minor fractures. UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you. 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.